Help! Help! Help!
Like I said earlier, I've seen citizens, maybe a lot of them may have been veterans, living under viaducts, living in tents, and the police dismantled them.
Yes.
And then we have people who are coming in from another country. They were allowing them to set up tents and live on the same thing that they said was against the law for us. They're saying it's okay for them.
Yes.
So, and then they also put people in buildings with other people. So, I just think we should learn more about each other and think more about the humane side of existence instead of this is mine, you can't have this, I'm not this, and you being selfish.
So you would say the individuals in Chicago that are wearing the red hats and very resistant to sanctuary city and
Wearing the red.
immigration, and because they feel that capital is being siphoned, you would say, in a sense, they're wrong. Would you? The Republicans, they're wrong. Would you say that? There are a lot of black
I
Republicans.
told you before, man, I think that the Republicans and Democrats, separate wings on the same bird. I mean, it's just they coming from things from a different. Conservative means we want things to stay the way they are, and Democrats, or what do you call them, liberals, they want to say, give us a piece of the pie. Let us have some crumbs. Let us, don't keep it all to yourself. Share. So one says share, the other says hell no.
Yeah. So I'm asking you: are these conservatives, as blacks as support, are they wrong? I'm asking. From your perspective, they are wrong. From your perspective,
In other words, the conservatives, we're saying they want to keep the wealth with the wealth, and they don't want to share nothing.
yes, they're wrong. Would you say?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
because I will tell you this: if you take profit out of the equation, this whole world could be run. There would be nobody that couldn't eat. There would be nobody without shelter. There would be this could be existent. There's places where climate is warm, where food can be grown all year round. That food could be transported all over the world. People would never have to be worried about not eating, never have to worry about having shelter, never would have to worry about none of that.
So there's an individual in New York a socialist that's running for mayor, and it appears as though he's going to win. So this must be a good thing.
Well, socialism, yeah, well, you can say that. I was always taught socialism was a bad thing.
Yeah.
It was a bad thing.
I forgot that he's the guy that's running for mayor. But yes.
But if I think about a concept, if this is true, and the concept of being a socialist, saying that the government owns everything, but all the people, they get to have everything they need. In other words, they have a decent house to live in, they have food to eat, they can live a decent life. So,
you got a question?
what was that question?
You got a question? Yes, sir.
Well, there's I don't know if socialism means the same as dictatorship or what.
Let me put you on speakerphone, okay? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was just listening to the show talking about the sanctuary city status.
Yes.
And where we should be as far as how we agree with, this whole situation. And I do understand that there's a humanitarian
That's what he said.
part that needs to be played out and needs to be adhered to.
Okay.
But in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but it's just the way I feel, that I agree with Trump and the Republicans. And I agree with him in his first term.
Yes.
There's things that's happening. Both of y'all, I think y'all from the South Shore area. I'm from the South Shore area.
Yes, sir.
There is a lot of crime. The building that was raided on 75th, in South Shore. I had recently been in there looking for someone for their family.
Yes.
And I saw the conditions inside that building. It was terrible.
Yes.
There was a huge shootout in the South Shore area around Kingston and Essex last year, which
Yes, sir.
A local gang chief was killed.
Yes.
And it was a huge shootout. It never, ever made the news. Okay? And we act like we are so church to see it with our own eyes.
Yes, sir.
In front of us.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Agree with what the gentleman is saying about the veteran. Veterans should have first dibs at any kind of housing that's available because of what they did, what they do, especially if they served in wars.
Yeah, brother. Brother, can I ask you a question? Speaking about people of color, I consider myself a person of color. Okay.
Okay.
So when they say when I hear the term person of color, that means I'm not white. Okay. I'm not Caucasian. So that means I could be Asian, I guess. I could be Mexican. I could be anything that's not considered white. But now you got to realize something here. We've been so caught up into this race thing, color thing, that you got people who are indigenous who feel that they want to be white. There, you got people in Africa who are bleaching their skin and trying to change their appearance because they've been so brainwashed that they want to be white. They think white is, or that complexion is beautiful, and they don't feel good about themselves. Seeing this, why do you feel that they think that we are? I was told a lot of times.
Because no. You're asking why? Because it's obvious. You got some people that you can go to in different places of the city of Chicago that come from other countries that will look at you and literally tell you that you ain't nothing. I've had conversations with people.
Really?
Where they may have not said it directly, but people that's the same color as me speaking on the fact like they're more.
It seems like that's lost. So I'm just saying we got to have more love for each other, and that's all. That's all I can say.
We do, and we both know it. But I've seen situations where I see another person, especially another melanated black person, and you try to reach out.
Yeah, I agree. My brother.
That's not right.
That's not right, but I agree with you 100%. We've been so damaged. We've never had a chance to heal.
There's so much about our history that we don't know, but we're actually finding out. Like being indigenous. Personally, we have a family member in Louisiana that died in 1785. They don't even know the birthday because I don't even think they had records back then when he was born. But the grave site is at a personal property at a house.
Yes.
And we still have family members that go to that house and let the current residents know that that's one of our family members in that ground.
Wow.
And that brings me to the point in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina hit. Me and my father was sitting up looking at the news, and they were doing all the things that they were doing at the time when Katrina was happening, the aftermath of it, kicking people out their houses and this, that, and other. And my father said something that flew over my head. I didn't understand it at the time.
Yes.
He said them people was in New Orleans before they even started calling it New Orleans. And when I looked at and remembered the picture of the grave site, that was in 1785.
Yes.
I don't even think Louisiana was a state back then. Okay?
Okay.
But we've been lied to. We've been damaged. A lot of things that we read in the books are not the truth. The truth is out there. Okay, finding out we are waking up, which is why reparations is an issue. But you mentioned something before about why Obama didn't do it, because Obama doesn't come from that same soil and bloodline that our grandparents and great-grandparents came from.
See, again, brother, you're making a difference. You're trying to make a difference. Stop making differences and look at what we have in common. When you look at Obama, they don't look back and say, "Oh, he come from." They look at him as a nigger. Okay, he's the same as us. They, for the people who think like that, he ain't no different than you. Okay, yes, true. His mother is Caucasian. His father is African. So that makes him a brother in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You can't separate him. When you talk about slavery, see, you're talking a different story. I told you we are the first indigenous people. We are the indigenous people. Before slavery,
yes,
we were here. Before slavery, we were here.
Yeah.
Okay. Reparations.
We had been in.
We had been in this Americas, which was called Turtle Island, before it was America.
I want to ask you, Carl. I want to ask you something. Go back to go back to Sanctuary City. Do you think that the man governor is wrong? And do you think one of the reasons they do not want the National Guards to come to Chicago because it's an indication that says they failed? Respond to that. You, the caller. Yes.
Okay. All right. I think they're wrong for it, without a doubt.
Yes.
Because it shows that they did fail. If they were passing, we wouldn't have the crime that we have. And to add on to that, crime does pay, crime does profit.
Yes.
How? I'll tell you how. Because the federal government funds certain programs or non-for-profit programs for crime prevention. Okay? Like houses for battered women, houses for people on substance abuse, places where they're supposed to be able to get treatment and help to re-enter back into society, or whatever it is.
Yes.
Federal government puts a lot of money into these programs.
Yes.
And a lot of them goes into churches with the 501c3s, which is why we saw all the black pastors down there at the Daily Center, because when the federal government gives out money, they generous because they got so much of it.
Yes. It's our money.
When that happens, you can't help but to be a little bit corrupt when that kind of money is being put into your possession.
Keep hope
and
alive.
some of it's going to go into your pocket rather than go into the direction where it's supposed to go to help the people for the programs that you're providing. This is why crime pays. And they don't want the National Guard here, because if crime goes down, then these programs get less money from the federal government.
Correct. So you're saying that the churches are involved, the pastors are involved?
Of course they're involved, just like they're involved with politics.
So when the National Guards come, they're going to stop the churches? They're going to investigate the churches?
No, they're not going. I don't know what they're going to do with the churches, but the churches is involved with getting some of this money that's going into certain people's pockets. I'm not saying all.
What happened?
Yeah.
I'm listening. Go ahead. We're listening to you.
No, I'm not saying that everybody is corrupt and crooked like that, but it is happening. It's a reality. And that's why they don't want the National Guards here, because it's profitable to have a certain amount of crime. That's why it's not being stopped.
It's correct. It's curfew. Like I said, it's these
Crime
kids
creates
have
prisons, it
downtown
creates
and
jobs.
go ahead, brother.
No, okay. Well, like I said, you got crime, you create prisons, prisons create jobs for the people in the towns. Then you got a multitude of businesses that have to make the uniforms, that have to make the food.
Yeah.
You got doctors that got to come in and care for the inmates and this, that, and other. So it's profitable for crime.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm saying. That's what I see.
I believe you're right, but I don't know what he thinks.
I agree with you. I said profit. I said take profit out of the scenario, and that's what your grandfather was.
Help! Help!
He thinks.
I agree with you. I said profit. I said take profit out of the scenario, and everybody could eat and have everything they want. And then we say, well, that's socialism. So okay. So is it better to have the profit in the scenario and some people get it all and other people get nothing? Or everybody can get something? I mean,
everybody should get something. That's what I feel. I mean, I don't think it should be no one distinct group like the 1%ers,
So if you say everybody should get something, that's leading towards socialism. That is what
towards socialism.
That's what the Democrats say. Okay, we want you to give up some of that money so we could have certain programs here to benefit people. Give us some crumbs. Don't keep all the wealth to yourself. Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that.
Conservatives say we want to keep it the way it is. We want to keep it to ourselves.
I think socialism, like you said before, two different wings on the same bird. And I think we all getting played by it.
Absolutely.
Because the Democrats certainly had their version of socialism when they were in power, but nobody wants to bring that up and talk about it.
Well, what's their version? Give me an example.
Censorship of speech. I'm going to give you an example. Censorship of free speech. Who were the ones who wanted to ban TikTok? Was it the left or was it the right? But the weird thing about that is that was the one subject that bipartisanly they could agree on. Mm-hmm. Okay? That happened Biden was coming out of office.
Let me interject something. They talk about TikTok. The Chinese have bought up land next to military bases. Okay? And they're buying up vast amounts of land and property and intellectual property and taking it back to their countries and improving upon it.
Well, I'm going to say one thing too, my brother. And then I might have to be off this podcast.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being generous with your time.
Yes. The thing is this. We are powerful people. And when we start taking control of ourselves, we will be unstoppable. Because, you mentioned it earlier, everybody has followed our lead. With the civil rights movement, we got the gay rights. We got these kind of rights. We got the other kind of rights.
Talk about them.
So all of that came from our movement. Okay?
Yes.
So we are powerful people when we want to make a move. But we have to stay collective. Right now, we're being divided. To keep us divided is going to keep us from coming together and being the power that we really are. There would be no civilization if it wasn't for us. There would be nothing. There would be nothing here that other people are taking credit for without us. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when our DNA gets awakened in us, and we realize the power that we really have, we will be unstoppable.
Yes,
and the world will follow us.
Yeah. Hey, brother, brother, I got to wind this down, brother, but I want to thank you. Thank you. And the people that are looking out there, brother, I appreciate you calling. But the Underground Railroad comes on every Saturday night at 10:30, and we do a podcast, and this will be on YouTube. I want to thank you, brother, for all your
calling
input.
in. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Oh, Cliff, you know who I am, man. You know who.
Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But because, my, work schedule and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely know. I got to get you on the show, brother. Okay?
Well, it was nice talking with you, brother.
Okay.
I'm glad you did call in.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, brother, I've been asking you questions for over an hour and a half.
Know, man.
And perhaps there's something that you want to say that I didn't give you the opportunity to say.
Wow.
Your future generation to be able to see this, but perhaps you want to put a message out.
Wow.
Cyberspace is forever.
The only message I want to put out is to do your due diligence, do your research, learn to love yourself, and then maybe you can start loving other people. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could make some changes. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I think more and more people are becoming awakened. And not only just us, but other European folks. They're seeing the truth. And I may not see it in my lifetime, but I do think it's going to make a change. Mm-hmm. So peace be unto you.
Do you have any type of message for your future generation that may not even get to the opportunity to meet you personally that you'd like to leave for them? Because in cyberspace, it'll be forever.
Yeah. All I can say is hopefully
your grandkids,
this generation, me, and can leave something for you that you could look back on that could help you move forward. That's about it.
Assalamu alaikum to the audience. And I want to thank you. And you know what? This is the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30. And this is the podcast. And this will be on YouTube. It's on YouTube now. And hopefully it'll go on television. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right.
Peace be unto you, my brother.
When Americans turned on their TVs in the early 1990s, one contentious issue was hard to miss: immigration.
Is immigration good for America?
The federal government won't stop them at the border.
You spend $5.5 billion a year to support them.
There's a right way and there's a wrong way.
At the time, there were around 5 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. And most Americans saw immigrants as a burden on the country, taking jobs, housing, and healthcare, and thought immigration as a whole should be decreased.
Our country is invaded by immigrants who are like cancer cells.
That same year, Republicans ran on a tough-on-immigration platform and took control of Congress. Democrats were pushed to adopt tough positions on immigration, too.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
In 1996, President Bill Clinton signed a major piece of legislation, the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, or IRA-IRA. Its goal was to decrease the number of undocumented immigrants. It did the opposite. Before the 1990s, undocumented immigration into the U.S. looked very different. For one, it was usually temporary.
People used to go back and forth across the border. They would go north and, for the harvest, and they would earn some money, and they would go back to Mexico.
And if they wanted to come live permanently in the U.S., there were a few legal channels, but not many. If they married an American citizen, they could get lawful status. Or if maybe their brother was a citizen already, he could sponsor them. Or an employer could. And these could be done after they were already living in the U.S. undocumented. Before 1996, the threat of deportation was relatively low. People were commonly deported for committing a crime, and it was mostly limited to major crimes like murder or trafficking. But IRA, together with other 1996 laws, drastically expanded deportable crimes to even minor infractions like shoplifting. It was also retroactive. So say it's 1976 and someone is caught stealing some albums from the mall. They wouldn't be deported. Over the next 20 years, they never commit another crime. But after 1996, they could be deported because of that old misdemeanor. And not just if they were currently undocumented. This applied to immigrants with lawful status, too. And previously, an immigration judge could decide if the deportation should even take place. Now things were a little more automatic.
Ignoring the fact that those deportations would be extremely harmful to U.S. citizen children or to spouses.
Deportations skyrocketed, and IRA created the framework for future laws that further expanded reasons people could be deported, especially after 9/11. But IRA also made another huge fundamental change in the U.S. immigration system.
One of the aspects of the 1996 law that is particularly strict and I think in many respects inhumane is the so-called 3 and 10-year bars.
Those 3 and 10-year bars made these legal pathways nearly impossible to obtain. They work like this. Anyone who's been undocumented in the U.S. for 6 months and wants to gain legal status first has to leave the country and be barred from returning for 3 years. If they've been undocumented for more than a year, they're barred for 10 years. So if they want to get lawful status through a job, they first have to leave the U.S. for 10 years. Or through their brother, leave for 10 years. Or through their spouse, leave for 10 years.
It's family separation by another name. The bars were intended to try to essentially create punishments that were so severe to deter people essentially from coming here. But as we've seen with many other deterrence-based policies, the practical effect is very different.
Instead, it incentivized people to stay in the U.S. undocumented. Before IRA, Mexican immigrants who came to the U.S. unlawfully were about 50% likely to return to Mexico within a year. But after 1996, more people started staying in the U.S. There were around 5 million undocumented immigrants living at the U.S. before IRA. Today, it's at least double that.
And we are somehow surprised by this outcome. This is of our own doing.
Laws like IRA shaped the way the U.S. focuses on immigration enforcement as a deterrent. But really, it proved that stronger enforcement doesn't actually stop undocumented immigration.
These laws or the politics of the 90s didn't really change the reasons why people come to the United States.
Today, views on immigrants are very different than they were in the 1990s. Most Americans now see them as a strength, not a burden. But the laws created here haven't changed.
Requirements and standards that were created decades ago that aren't responsive to our needs as a nation, they certainly aren't responsive to the needs of immigrant populations.
The idea that if we only had more guns, if we only built a higher wall, that we'd solve all the problems, I think we learned from 96 that's not the way it works. It's not that simple.
What your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And they
Some people don't know what NSA is.